Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 30th of April 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this last Traders Tea Time this month. Welcome everyone. So basically we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts. We're going to have a look at a few charts that we looked at this morning as well. So just a quick overlook of what's happening with them right now. But as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the Nasdaq Composite. So yesterday we had a nice push higher here. The Nasdaq Composite managed to reach a new all-time high, or should I say an all-time high just in general, and managed to create a new high here. And yep, of course, now it got held yesterday near the 8,176 level. So this is going to be a very important one for us to watch. If we see a push above that, then well, it could open the path towards higher areas into the uncharted territory. So for now, of course, as long as this index continues to trade above this short or should I say medium term upside support line taken from the lows of this December last year, so until it's above that, yep, we'll continue targeting higher levels. The only thing is that, of course, don't get me wrong, we are quite overextended here, especially looking at this 4-hour chart extended to the upside. So in a way, that's why guys, for now, be very careful with this one. We may see maybe a bit of correction here back to the downside. I do have this level here, the 8,133.30 level, and just to show you what that level was in the past, basically that was the previous all-time high here, or the highest point that we saw here back in the end, in the end of August, let's put it that way. So basically it was the highest point of 2018. So if we see a slide towards that area, be very careful, because if this continues to drop lower, we may see, yep, a bit of correction here. But as I've mentioned before, as long as we're trading above this upside support line, we are going to remain somewhat more bullish than bearish. And of course, we could see all this move lower just as a nice correction before another leg of buying. But that's in the situation if this upside support line continues to hold. But if we see a break below that and we see a drop below this little area here, let me just quickly put that on the chart. That's approximately around the 8,057 zone, approximately there. Basically, it's near the lows of the 26th of April and near the highs of the 17th of April. So a nice good drop below this 8,057 level could open the path towards much lower areas. This could be that nice maybe turning point, from at least from the short-term perspective. We could see this one maybe traveling further down. We will examine, of course, the psychological 8,000 level, but just slightly below that, there is a nice potential area of support here near this 7,965 level, marked here by the low of the 22nd of April. So, of course, keep your eyes on that one. For now, as long as we're trading here, we will continue targeting higher levels in the near term, but But like I said, if we suddenly start seeing a break below this upside support line, and then a price drop below the 8,057, if we get that, then well, this could turn out to be quite ugly for the bulls, at least in the short term. Jumping very quickly into DXY now, I've talked about this one this morning, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this level here, the 97.85. You can see that it was trying initially to push higher, but kind of failed to close the 4-hour candle above that level, and we had a nice beautiful sell-off here, and which drove the DXY all the way here towards the 97.52 level. I was also talking about this area. So 97.52.50, you can see that that's the support zone for today, the 97.50. Of course, let's see if this continues to push further down. If it continues to drop below the 97.50, now we do have a nice potential area of support here near the 97.26, which is marked near the lows of the 22nd of April, and slightly below that we do have this nice upside support line. A bit of a tentative one, I do understand that, because we did have a nice good break here on the 20th of March, but then quickly on the 21st of March the index traveled back above it and continued to kind of respect that line. So we may see a revisit of that line again, but again, for now, at this point in time, for us now, we need to wait for a break below the 97.50 in order to consider further declines. For now, we may see also maybe a small rebound here, going back a little bit higher, but to be honest, this overall, well, not overall, but for now, from the very short-term perspective, this is looking more bearish than bullish. Jumping into Ripple very quickly, Ripple had a nice push higher. So initially, of course, you saw Ripple yesterday, especially trading kind of around the psychological 0.30 level, and today we're having a nice boost here. And looking at this 4-hour chart, you can see the crypto traveled higher. It hit its 200 EMA perfectly here. It, of course, did overshoot it a little bit, but you can see that it hit it perfectly, and now it's currently balancing just slightly below it. Now, this is the level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on here, and that's around the 0.3230. So basically, we need to see a nice good push, another push above that level in order to kind of consider higher levels. And by higher levels, I mean the 0.3320. That's a very good potential target here. Let me just get rid of some of these lines, just a bit of in the way. So that's what we're going to be targeting here. Let me just quickly put in an arrow just for our future reference. Initially, we'll go step by step. First, like I said, the 0.3320 level, that's what we're going to target. If that gets broken, then the next area for us is around the 0.3425, or even actually going all the way towards the highs of the 18th of April, near the 0.35 level. So, but again, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. First, let's see what it wants to do with this 0.3230. If we do get a nice pop above this, then yep, that's wonderful. We could see a further acceleration to the upside. But for those who are more on the cautious side, what you could do here is also keep a close eye on this little downside resistance line, basically, just in case, because if this decides to drop below this, now this is where it could turn out to be ugly again for Ripple. So basically, if we see a further decline here, ideally, in order to consider lower areas again, we would like to see a nice good push below this little area here. Let me just quickly put that, guys, on the chart. So basically, we need to see a nice good drop below this little area here around the 0.3040 zone, because we do have this little tentative upside support line here as well. So in a way, just for that better confirmation of the downside, a drop below the 0.3040 level approximately there could potentially lead this crypto back down towards the levels that we saw recently here. Should be more precise, last week, and then yep, we could consider further declines. But for now, this is where it is. It's currently sitting just slightly below the 200 EMA. Let's see if it actually manages to push back above the 0.3230. If it does, then yep, we'll consider the next potential target here near the 0.3320. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. Jumping into euro dollar. So euro dollar is having a great day. This is what I was talking about this morning, and this morning we were still trading around here, basically around the 111.75. So basically we had a nice pop here to the upside, and it continued to push higher. It continued to travel all the way here towards the 112.80, 1.1205, and also managed to reach this target here. I've also mentioned the 1.122728 zone, approximately there. So you can see that a perfect hit here, and now it's retracing back down. So for us now, what we're going to be looking at here is, of course, and you probably, if you're following my logic here, we need to see that nice good break above this 1.1228 in order to kind of consider a further move higher, at least towards the 1.1260, or even actually a retest of this tentative downside resistance line here, taken from the highs of January this year. So good potential target here, but first we need to see that nice good pop and a close of the 4-hour candle at least above the 1.1228 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. If this suddenly reverses back down and travels back below this little tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 7th of March, now this is where you should become a little bit cautious, or should I say the bulls should become a little bit cautious, and as we could see maybe further declines here. But if this starts breaking the 111.75 level, because that's going to be our level to watch here in order to consider lower areas. For now, it seems that the downside is slightly off the table. Let's see if it actually can manage to break and close above the 1.1228 zone. If it does, then yep, that's perfect. We could see a further move higher here towards the 200 EMA, then the 1.1260, or even actually this downside resistance line. Jumping into Euro GBP now, this is a very interesting one, and this one is a something that we've posted here on TradingView, basically, where I just wanted to quickly open that one. So basically we've posted this one just before it kind of broke out of this range here. So as you can see, so yep, it was still trading above here, and basically the idea was here to watch these key support and resistance levels. So as and the Euro GBP managed to travel lower, broke this 0.8620 level, and of course the big question here is, will this stay here today below this 0.8620, or actually is this going to reverse back up to the upside and maybe travel higher again? So for now, of course, this is where it is. It is currently testing its S2 for today. Let's see if it stays here. If it does, then yep, that's wonderful for the bears. We could see a further decline here towards the 0.8594 zone, something like that, and then we'll just take it from there, see what he wants to do. Does he want to rebound back up, or actually does he want to travel further down? For now, like I said, we are more bearish than bullish on this one, but again, let's see how this how it's going to end and where the day is going to end on this one, and if it actually manages to stay below the 0.8620. In terms of GBP Aussie, now GBP is today the best performer against all of its major counterparts, and this is something that we've posted before. I just wanted to keep it to show that it kind of worked out nicely here. We did have a nice push here higher. It took our profit, and now we actually get rid of this idea here. So what we're going to be looking at here is, of course, as you can see already, this downside resistance line. So of course we did have a nice push today, beautiful for the bulls. Let's see if it actually can continue traveling further up here. So GBP is basically the strongest one right now, and the Aussie is on the slightly weaker side. So basically that's why we're having this nice mixture here on GBP Aussie, basically, and we're having this nice push to the upside, and it's breaking this downside resistance line taken from the high of March this year. So long story short, basically, guys, we are looking for some higher levels on this one, but let's not forget that because we're quite overextended here on the 4-hour chart and the shorter time frame, we may see a small correction back down. Of course, our target here above is around the 1.8535 zone, approximately there. The next potential target for us will be this little high of the 2nd of April, which is around the 1.8610, something like that. that. But again, don't forget, like I said, we could see a retracement back down first before another leg of buying. And also what I wanted to show you guys, basically this little high here, this little high of the 24th of April, which is around the 1.8450. In a way, if we do see a slide back down, and if, let's say, it tests the 1.8450, and for example, if it even actually if it breaks below it a little bit, don't the bull should probably not get too disappointed yet, because like I said, we could see a drop lower, we could see a test of this downside resistance line from above, and then this is where a lot of buyers could start stepping in if the pair will struggle to get back below this downside resistance line. If it struggles to do that, like I said, this is where the more bulls could start jumping in. Like I said, initially, of course, keep your eyes on this 1.8450. If it continues to hold, then that's wonderful. I mean, we could see a further push higher, but if it breaks below, like I said, the bulls should not be disappointed too much, because we still have, as the last resort for them, is this downside resistance line, which could hold as well. If we see a break below that, then, well, I mean, that could turn out to be a little bit difficult for the buyers, and we could see a further slide lower, especially potentially aiming for the 1.8305, 1.83 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. For now, like I said, this is looking more bullish than bearish, but don't forget that we may see a bit of a correction to the downside. And the last pair, very quickly, GBPCAD also exploding to the upside. So with this one, basically, it also the Canadian numbers came out as well, and let me just double check those. So the GDP figures for Canada came out lower than expected, and we saw this nice selling activity of the Canadian dollar, and basically here the result was with a strong pound today and a weaker Canadian dollar. That's what you get as well. So we had a nice push here. Initially, of course, we already started pushing this morning above the 1.7430, but then, like I said, when the Canadian numbers kicked in, it did add more fuel to this, and now it's traveling all the way here towards the R3, which is around the 1.7532, 33 zone. Slightly above that, we do have that 175.40 level that we've got it as a target. If it manages to reach that, that's wonderful. And a similar story like with the GBPUSD, we may see a bit of a correction back down, and then another leg of buying if it fails to get back below this little area right here, 1.7430. So keep your eyes on this one. If we do see a drop below the 1.7430, this would also place the pair below its 200 EMA again here on the 4-hour chart, and like I said, this could turn out to be quite ugly for the bulls, and we could see a further slide lower here. So for now, guys, like I said, it is pushing higher. Wait for a possible correction, because like I said, it is quite extended here to the upside already on the 4-hour chart. Wait for a little correction, and then you could potentially start jumping into this one again. But again, like I said, keep your own head on your shoulders. You'll be the judge what to do. Always have your stop loss in place, guys. Don't trade without a stop loss. And yep, I hope you have a lot of success, guys. Okay, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Trader's Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you later. Bye bye, guys.